There are very few franchises that have had as long of a run as Resident Evil while still managing to excite and entertain their audiences. Part of the allure is undeniably the rich narratives they weave, not to mention all of the spookums which have paved the way for the likes of Silent Hill, Amnesia: The Dark Descent, and Outlast. The reason for Resident Evil's success in the mainstream rather than just among survival horror fans may lie in its vast array of interesting puzzles. Over the years, the series has treated players to a smorgasbord of brain teasers, from standalone conundrums that unlock untold goodies to lengthy interconnected mysteries that hold the key to advancing the story. For this list, we're rifling through Resident Evil's long history and ranking our favourite puzzles from the franchise. We'd like to assure viewers that although we are including one puzzle from Resident Evil Village, we won't be discussing plot points, so feel free to continue watching without fear. At least without fear of entering spoiler territory. You may still wish to remain cautious of Lady D. Or not, you know what I'm saying? Horny jail. So without further ado, I'm the highly enigmatic Ben from TripleJump, and these are the 10 best Resident Evil puzzles. Number 10. The Portable Safes, Resident Evil 2 Remake. We thought we'd kick off this list with a puzzle that's so simple a child could crack it, but which had us swearing and wishing we could toss the damned things through the nearest window. We probably ought not to though, we're running desperately short of wooden boards. Throughout Resident Evil 2's stellar remake, we come across two of these dinky portable safes which, when opened, give players the spare keys needed to open all of the lockers in the safety deposit room. These keys will allow the player to access a number of goodies including ammo, herbs, and an extremely valuable hip pouch which permanently increases inventory space. Those who've spent hours playing Storage Tetris will know exactly why this is so important. The safes effectively function as a simple memory test. You just need to press the 8 grey buttons in the right order to illuminate the little green LEDs in sequence. Sadly, Peter and I struggle to remember what day it is half the time, and there's nothing more frustrating than getting to the 6th or 7th button and pressing the wrong one, which happened far too many times for me to comfortably confess here. On the bright side, if you can't get it open, maybe you can throw it hard enough to lodge it in the cranium of a passing zombie, so, you know. Number 9. The Underground Statue Room, Resident Evil Remake. For all of their many talents, which in the case of Chris Redfield include literally being able to tunnel through boulders, the protagonists of 2002's Resident Evil Remake really are useless when they come across anything they need to pull towards them. Does the Stars Gym not have a lateral pull-down machine? And what do they do if they come across a pull door? Sit down and cry until someone of average upper body strength comes along? It turns out, however, that the puzzle in the Underground Statue Room is actually enhanced by the physical limitations of Chris and Jill. While a similar puzzle is present in the original game, the remake really steps things up a level, introducing additional complications. The goal is simple: move the statue into the right spot in order to reveal the doodad you need to advance. Sadly, because neither of our heroes is able to pull or turn the thing, they need to employ the assistance of several mechanisms in the room to aid them on their quest. Perhaps if the pair had spent more time working on that upper body strength, they'd have been able to sort it out much quicker. Number 8. The Circle of Life, Resident Evil 0. There are many great conundrums in the Resident Evil series that require players to boop items in a certain order, and the Circle of Life puzzle in Resident Evil 0 is one of our favourites. Upon entering the basement, Billy and Rebecca will come across a number of different animal statues, including a stag, a tiger, a horse, a snake, a wolf, and an eagle. Each bears an inscription that will lead the player to the puzzle's solution, so make sure to take note of what they all say. Start by working out which creature is at the bottom of the food chain and work up from there, lighting the flame on the correct statues one after another. As ever though, the clues are fairly vague and it'll probably take you a few attempts before you're able to work out which animal goes in what order. If you do manage to work it out without looking it up online, however, I'd say you've definitely earned bragging rights and maybe an investigation to see if you have anything to do with these mysterious puzzles popping up everywhere. Number 7. The Cemetery Dial, Resident Evil 4. Under normal circumstances, we wouldn't encourage our viewers to go rooting around in graveyards to see if they're able to uncover any buried treasure, but in the case of Resident Evil 4, go hog wild, kids. It's on us. Throughout Leon Kennedy's adventures in Europe, general Europe, there's lots of trinkets and MacGuffins peppered around the map just waiting to be picked up and sold for a tidy sum. Many of these are only hidden, but one or two require a little bit of brain power. The green gem, for example, can be found by completing the Cemetery Dial puzzle, for which players are only given this single, rather cryptic clue: 3 family insignias of the dead ringers. Once you've worked that all out, all you need to do is illuminate the matching symbols on the dial and claim your fancy gemstone, except you can only turn it clockwise in increments of 3 or 4, so you might be here for a while. Oh well, it's not like you have anything more important to do. Ashley who? Number 6. Tracing the Ashford Legacy, Resident Evil Code Veronica. It can make for an exciting afternoon poking about the internet and unearthing all of the skeletons in your ancestors' closets. The Ashford Legacy in Resident Evil Code Veronica X is a remarkable example of this and is right at the center of a puzzle that, if successfully completed, will unlock a rather fancy-looking vase. Upon entering the portrait room, players will be faced with a whole bunch of paintings of the Ashford clan, each with a button underneath. At the back of the room is a memo that, somewhat cryptically, reveals the order in which the buttons must be pushed, so all you need to do is work out who is who in each of the portraits. Easier said than done, but I do really want that earthenware. Although simple in premise, the Ashford Legacy puzzle may leave players scratching their heads for a good long while as they try to piece together the clues, all while remembering the order in which they need to push the buttons. Or they could try writing it down, if they feel like cheating. Number 5. The chess pieces. Resident Evil 2 Remake. I can't be the only person in the world who watched The Queen's Gambit, immediately went out and bought myself a chessboard, then very quickly learned that I suck at chess, right? No? Found in both Claire's and Leon's stories, and differing slightly in their solutions, players need only find a handful of chess pieces and insert them into the right slots. Sadly, the plugs are dotted around the sewers, so you're going to have to go on a bit of a trek through Spookums Central to find them. You'll find 2 of the pieces hiding out in a wee maze, and you'll need to use all of your wits to remove and place them in the right order so that you can both escape and keep them in your possession. When you've located all of them, you'll need to hot-foot it back to the control panels and work out the correct placement based on very vague instructions that someone's left on the notice board. Seems like poor security protocol if you ask me. What do I know? My password is my password. Please don't tell anyone. Please don't tell anyone. Number 4. Bedroom. Resident Evil 7 Banned Footage Volume 1. If you felt your time with the Baker family was just too darned short, then you're in for a treat when you download Banned Footage. The Volume 1 DLC contains not 1, but 3 new adventures. Ethan Must Die, in which Ethan must traverse the Baker home while avoiding serious injury. Nightmare, where the aim is simply to survive through the night. And our personal favourite, Bedroom. Taking control of the unfortunate Sewer Gators cameraman, Clancy, players must complete a series of puzzles escape room style in order to obtain the snake key and get the heck out of Dodge. The twist, however, is that every so often one of the puzzles will make a loud noise, causing Marguerite to come and investigate. And if she finds something out of place, oh boy, are you gonna get it. You'll need to solve each of the room's enigmas in turn, and if you attract some unwanted attention, be careful to put everything back where you found it before the Baker matriarch busts your ass for being out of bed. Oh, and pro tip from me, that drawer that's stuck? Yeah, don't bother with it. You'll thank me later. Number 3. The Labyrinth Puzzles. Resident Evil Village. For anyone who owned a Screwball Scramble growing up, the Labyrinth puzzles in Resident Evil Village are a big old smack of nostalgia. These are contraptions which, if successfully completed, reward the player with a highly valuable treasure that they can sell on for some serious moolah. Okay, yes, they are human remains, but the Duke has a business model that works for him, and I do not intend to interfere with it. The concept is simple. Locate the metal ball associated with each puzzle, drop it into the top, and guide it around the track. Each labyrinth is themed to the area of the game in which it can be found, and you'll need to masterfully tilt and wiggle the ball through various obstacles in order to get it to its destination. The actual execution of the task is devilishly tricky as you try to navigate past holes and missing bits of track, but once you get the knack, they're a highly satisfying break from the rest of Resident Evil Village, which for me mainly consists of being chewed to death by beasties. Number 2. When the two have run each other through. Resident Evil Remake. Once again, we are treated to a puzzle that was absent from the original version of the first Resident Evil title, with this one upgrading a find and place item quest into more of a brain teaser. We come across the clock puzzle fairly early in the game, bearing the mysterious inscription, "When the two have run each other through, the path to your destiny will open." But it's not until much later that we've got the necessary pieces to put the whole thing together. Once the gold emblem has been found and placed on the dining room wall, a panel on the clock will reveal cogs that the player can turn in order to point the hands in the direction of one of 4 different symbols. Successfully complete this task, and you'll be rewarded with the shield key, which allows you to progress further through the game. Technically, yes, you could complete this one with a bit of trial and error, but you'll feel far more fulfilled if you're able to riddle it out. After all, the writing is literally on the wall. Or rather, the painting is. Number 1. Happy birthday, Resident Evil 7. I don't much care for birthday parties, so when it comes to my big day, too much KFC in the dark is more than enough excitement. After playing Resident Evil 7's Happy Birthday tape, however, I'm just thankful that I've never had a knees up organised for me by Lucas Baker. After defeating Marguerite, the player is invited to a party organised by the baker's son, culminating in yet another escape room-like experience. The goal is simple: light a candle on the stove and pop it atop the birthday cake in the next room. Easy, right? Sadly, no, as the doorway has a sprinkler system that's set off every time the player passes underneath. On the first playthrough, whether as Ethan or on a birthday tape as the perennially unfortunate Clancy, you'll unwittingly remove the stopper from a big barrel of flammable liquid in your quest to uncover the code word needed to get the valve handle. You'll feel well smug as you place the candle on the cake, only to watch on in horror as the cake explodes, igniting the liquid on the floor and burning your character to death. Happy birthday. On second attempt, however, you already know the code word, so all you've got to do is enter it, take the valve, and be on your not-so-merry way, leaving the horrors behind you. Hang on, what do you mean there are still more horrors to come? No, not for me. No, sir. I'm turning this off and playing Garfield Kart instead.